Hey! Hello! Welcome back to EUC Learn Along. Well, today we're going back to the NetScaler. We're going to do a few more things for our Citrix environment. And if you look, I already created something. I created a unified gateway. Yeah. So, I haven't messed with these before, even though they've been out for a while now. But these help easily create a gateway for your environment. So you got a few. You got one for Zen Mobile, we won't ever touch. You got one to access your XenApp, XenDesktop, CVAD, whatever Citrix wants to call it. And then you got the unified gateway that has, you can put everything in there. And that's what we're going to be doing. And we'll kind of loop in this one as well. So I went ahead and created one just to see how it works. Pretty straightforward versus the old way of doing things, setting everything up, all these policies, and it was a mess. But anyhow, let's get started. All right, so we're going to have a gateway. So we already load balanced. Yeah, so don't worry about that. Where's it at? Servers. Yep, so we got our servers. We got our HA pair. All right, so before we start, probably need to go over those. So I got this one. We changed it back, I think in the last video when we did load balancing and all the other good stuff, to participate in HA. We have disabled it because if you look, you no longer see freemium at the top. Well, why is that? Well, messing with the gateway, I kept getting errors. I'm not too good with licenses. And all the errors point to need a license. All right, so what do you do for that? Well, I'll post these links in the blog, vlog, whatever you want to call it. But you can get yourself a developer license. I think it's called VPX Express, something like that. Gives you all the features. It is throttled, but hey, it's real simple. You just follow the directions. Once you obtain the license, this will tell you how to apply it. Real straightforward. Enter the MAC address. Button instructions. Where did it tell you to go? Under step 6. Manual installation under step 6. Yep. So you can use PuTTY, or you can go to the appliance itself, log in, type in shell, type in this command here, and then you'll get the MAC address. Yep. And then you just follow the rest of these instructions. Again, it's straightforward. You can do it. So I got one license, and I applied it to this MAC address for our ADC1. All right, 2, we're not using pooled licensing, so 2 is not licensed. No big deal. It's just a lab. So we got it working, got rid of all the errors. Those are the primary things you need to do before you set up a gateway in a lab environment. If you're doing this in prod, your production enterprise environment, more than likely you already have the licenses, hopefully. All right, so we covered that. I'll post these links on how to obtain the license, how to get the MAC address, and how to apply the license. Real straightforward. All right, so what else do we need to do? All right, so once we're licensed, oh yeah, look at that. All right, so I already got it working. Yep, hitting at some certs. So that's what we need to do. All right, so we're going to set up another one. You can have multiple gateways. It's probably going to be I don't know. I don't know if you can have one gateway to meet all your needs. You could do a bunch of access-based things, but we'll just have two. All right. So we got this cert already created, so we need to go ahead and create another one. And we also need a DNS address or a host file. My bad. All right, so we created one for our gateway. All right, let's create another one. All right, what do we want to call it? Let's call this one, how about Unified Gateway? Did I spell that right? Unified Gateway. All right, and we'll give it address. Little box is messing with me. All right, so we did 250. I know 251 is free. I could just look in DNS, but it doesn't hurt to try to ping it. I have been doing a lot in the lab, just learning on my own. At 251. Yep, we're good. All right, so we'll do 251. All right, done. Unified Gateway. Pretty sure I spelled that right. Let me double check. Yes. All right, so we got our host record. Well, let's go over a couple other changes I've done. So I'm kind of getting tired of resetting things up. So I am moving to keeping these policies updated. So I created one for Edge. I imported the ADMX files for Edge. And I just set, I was tired of first startup. I was tired of getting all these ads and stuff I didn't want. Yes, I know. So just some simple policies to set startup on a blank screen. Home screen is a blank screen. Hide first experience. Yes, that's all the stuff I didn't want. So when you open up Edge, I'm ready to go. All right. And if you want to see that, again, very straightforward. Microsoft Edge download. What was it? I think it was business. Yep. And there we go. I just downloaded the 64-bit policies, and you extract what's in that cab file, and it's just ADMX and language file. We know how to do that, so no need to go over that. All right, so let's continue. All right, so we got our host record, our DNS record. Now let's create a certificate. All right, there's a bunch of ways to do this. We'll do it this way. New task, advanced options, create a custom request. And you don't have to create a custom request. You can just get one from a template, but we'll do it this way. Proceed without enrollment policy. Leave that as default. Hit the drop down, properties. So we're going to try to create a wildcard. Wildcard. All right, subject name. All right, so dot UC learn along dot local. Let's see if this works. All right, we got our DNS. Got a wildcard. Excuse me, drinking the coffee. All right. Server authentication. Nice. Key options. This is based on you, but we'll do 2048. And we want the private key to be exportable. All right, so I think we're good. We'll find out. All right. Next. And we'll call this one wildcard. Or I probably should have wildcard. Save, finish. All right, there we go. All right, so if we open this, again, this is for a internal setup, so you may want to be careful with that. And then if you really needed to cert for a gateway, you wouldn't be using an internal cert. Again, this is just for a lab, but this will help us anyway. All right, so we got that. Let's go ahead. So I did have to enable something else, so we'll go ahead and look at that. We did enable some features for our cert authority. On this server, I think when we did MSXI, MSIX? Yes, MSIX. When we created that cert. So we did enable some of that already. All right, so we want to enroll this certificate. So we had to enable a few more features. All right, so again, this was just one of 6. All we enabled was web enrollment, and it's just next, next, next. And then you just go over here, and there's a task. You just click on it, finish it up. I don't think you need to see that, but I'll post a video on how to set this up as well. Very, very straightforward. Just once you're done, click on this. No reboots required. You can reboot it if you want to, but just make sure after you enable it, you come over here and turn it on. All right. So we got our wildcard cert. All right, look at that policy working in action. So we're going to look at the All right, so we want to request a cert. Again, this you can do it through here. We're going to do it this way. All right, advanced. All right, we'll paste it in here. That is our file, that cert we just created. We're going to do web server, submit. We'll use 64 base encoded. We'll download. And where do I want to put this? And you could download the chain cert as well. And got that one. Download certificate chain. All right. Good. All right, so we'll close that. I'll take that back. So I'm building up a couple other things. I'm keeping track of my ADMX templates. So those are the ones I got for Edge. That way, if I have to rebuild the lab again, or if I do other stuff, I got everything saved somewhere else. All right, certs. We'll do a wildcard. Yep, and you saw the MSIX. All right, so we got our certs. All right, now Let's import it. Browse, yes. Open, next. Yep. Finish. All right, and there's our wildcard. All right, so we want to export it. And we want to export that private key. All right, next. All right, next. Browse. Wildcard. No. And we'll just do PFX. Here, we'll give it a better name. How about UC, learn along, wildcard, PFX. Next, finish, export, successful. We'll grab this. Bam. Just keeping track of everything. All right, so now we got a wildcard cert. We got a DNS record. So we need to go back to our ADC. Again, I'll post these with the blog. And we're just going to create a new one. We're going to go through the same process. I've done nothing, special. Just added this just to try it out. But just go to Unified Gateway. We're going to create a new gateway. All right. Gives you a nice little diagram of what's going on. All right, what do we want to call it? Well, oops. Oh my goodness. Unified Gateway. Is that what we're calling it? ADC learn along local. All right, we're going to give it that address that we got. What was it? 251. Yep. Again, I was messing around in here, but we do need to install the new cert. All right, so that cert was on the appliance. We need to import a new one. Okay, open. All right, we need to put in that key. I like using the same password for everything. We'll hit continue. Don't worry about that. All right, and I already had the chain. So I got my root certificate. So we can go to the next. Again, if you need to know about, you can download the chain or blah, 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 blah. You got your trusted root. Cool stuff. All right, so let's go back. All right, so we got our chain, we got our root certificate, we got our cert that we created. Continue. So we already have our LDAP server. That's our .133 is our domain controller. But if you add a new server, you would just put in the IP address of your server. DN would be equals DN, and it would be EUC learn along local service count. Again, I just used the same password for my domain admin account. This would just be a service account. Leave everything else the same, and you're good to go. Pretty straightforward. All right, but since we already have an existing setup and it's created for us, we can easily create more gateways. All right, so we're using this policy right here. All right, no secondary authentication. So if you pick any one of these themes, it will give you an error. Yep. So it's telling you what theme they want you to choose. Yep. All right, and then for the last piece, we can choose what we want to put in our unified gateway. All right, so let's do our XenApp XenDesktop. We won't use a web interface, but we'll just do storefront. We'll put in our store that we have created. And we already created a DNS record for this and changed our base URL in the last ADC video of storefront dot uc.local retrieve stores. There we go. uc.local. We're going to add our STAs. Citrix. And our STAs are our DDCs. 2. Alright. You can test them. No need for us to test them. I already know it works. Bam. Alright, so we had that. Alright, let's go to continue. And done. Alright, so now we got 2 gateways. So there's one more piece that we need to do. We can do that in storefront. Yep. I had to make sure I got this up, the server up, so we can test our resources. Alright, so we're going to go to Manage Gateways. Again, I've already have one in here, but if you didn't, you go to Add, Display Name, it's just name, Unified Gateway. Yep, appliance. We'll do both and HTTPS Unified Gateway dot EC learn along. EC learn dot local. All right, next we're going to add our STAs in here. HTTP Citrix dot EUC learn along. Oh my goodness, why did I do that? Oh, oops. Citrix dot EUC learn along dot local. And number 2. Enable session reliability, sure. Alright, we're good. Great. Finish. Alright, so now we got 2 gateways. And 1 store. Close. Alright, if we go here, configure remote access. It is already enabled, but you would just come in here, enable it, and choose the gateway you want it to go through. Alright, so we're using the new one. I want to verify that that wildcard cert works. Alright, and we'll just leave it as is. And once you click OK, if you're doing this for the first time, it will change this from internal access to internal and external networks. And it will also change your authentication settings. It will check pass-through from Citrix Gateway. If not, check it yourself, but it should check it anyway. All right, so there we go. Let's hope that it works. All right, so let's go here. Unified. Here, let's type in. I'm a lazy typer. Unified gateway. Oops. HTTPS. There we go. So we got log on. Connection is secure. And there's our wildcard cert. Man, I can't talk. Keep hiccuping or something. Alright, so we got our... We're using this account for a lot of things, but this is our domain admin account. You can use any account to log in. You're just accessing your resources, but just pointing out that we use this account way too much. Alright, log on. Alright, you got a few things to choose from. Alright, if you just wanted virtual app and desktops, yep. So I was messing with this one. I can probably delete that, and I can probably reuse. Yeah, I can reuse that cert again. But I was messing around with this one. This one does not work. Bam. But you can just do this one and just have them access your CVAD stuff. All right, but this one, I like it a little bit more because you can do so much. And I'll show you. All right, so where were we? All right, so we're going to access our apps and desktops. Yep. I don't have the Citrix workspace on here, so I can't actually launch anything. But welcome. We got our stuff through the gateway. Again, we're just doing it in our internal lab, but the concepts are there. All right, and if we launch, our server's up. There's nothing to open the Zyka file because Workspace is not installed on here. But we're good to go. But what else can we do? Well, I'll show you. So we'll close that. So now we have a wildcard cert, which we can apply to all these things that we need for like Director, Studio, all these new web services, WIM. We can get that going now. So something to remember. All right, I did save all that stuff out, so we're good to go. Didn't mean to burp in your ear. All right, what else do we need to do? Oh, what I wanted to show you. Excuse me. All right, so we got both our gateways set up. Let's mess with this one. All right, so it breaks it out, how it's working, traffic flow, all that stuff. But we can go here and add. All right, intranet, configure client list URLs, such as Outlook, SharePoint. I mean, cool stuff. Make this happen. Make this application accessible through the innate-way. Let's do... We don't have Outlook set up. Outlook. Web app. All right. URL. HTTPS. Let's just do google.com. Oops. All right, and we can choose an icon. Is there an icon on here? Jeez. All right, so we got a PNG. I think that's what it takes, or JPEG. There's more. We don't need to do anything more. All right, so we'll hit continue. And look at that. You can just add stuff in here. SaaS applications, web apps, all great stuff. If I wanted to, let's see if I can get this to work. We'll call this store web. We'll put in HTTP storefront.euclearnalong.local. Nothing in there. Let's go back. Probably didn't like the way I put that in. There we go. Little glitchy. All right, so let's go back. Let's do our unified gateway. Log in. All right, so let's do clientless access. Oh man, look at that. Got Outlook web app, got our calculator. It's putting everything in here. All right, so I did do light. Will it open this in the web page? Let's try that. We haven't seen that yet. Nope. Let me do. Oops. It's hosing up on me. And it crashed. All right, let's try it again. Unified gateway. All right. Let's go to about. Activate. No, that's not what I want. Use light version. Let's try it. Apps. That's not going to work. So I'll work to get that going. That'd be something cool to see. So instead of using Citrix Workspace, you can just use Citrix Web. We'll get that going. Yep, I know. I'm just crashing things. Unified gateway. We'll stop doing that. We don't have any favorites, but we can add those. Look at that. Details. Add to favorites. What else we got? Details. Add to favorites. So we're kind of putting everything in one bucket. All right, and install, detect receiver, already installed. We'll leave that so we don't crash it. But Outlook web app, we don't have Outlook, Exchange, any of that set up. But if we click it, we set it to Google, so it should access. Look at that. Election 2024. Make sure you vote. We can access internal resources, internal websites. So with OWA, I mean, with Office 365, pretty much all those apps are web-based now. Teams, Outlook, Excel, all of them. If you got just basic front-end workers, knowledge workers who just need a chat, email, and a couple productivity apps, I mean, you can push them to the web, and they don't have to take up Citrix resources. It is taking up a resource. It's taking up some capacity on your NetScaler, but you're not taking up, when you log into a desktop, you got resource consumption, CPU, memory, etc. But anyhow, take a little bit of network to run these apps. And these aren't really high usage apps. So that's cool. And look, we got store web. Will this... Oh, let me fix that real quick. My bad. All right, so I can't edit it here. So if I go back and I go here, I can go down, I can click on that. What is it? Citrix .store web. Okay. Done. And let's go back. Close you. Here, let's log off and log on. All right, let's launch Store Web now. Yep, there's that URL. Is it going to log me in? Maybe. Let's see. And it did. So, I mean, cool. Got your SaaS web apps. Look at that. I'm excited. Got your bookmarks. You can create your own bookmark. Let's do https bang.com. Probably need to put the www World Wide Web. Bang personal web bookmarks. Forbidden. Yeah. No big deal. But cool. You can create your own personal web bookmarks. Open. Can I edit it? It doesn't look like I can edit it. Oh, I can delete it. Is Bing.com is that even a website? It is. Just making sure. It's probably going to give access to not. Yep. No big deal. But there we have it. Now we could do the old way of setting up a gateway. I don't want to. I'd rather do it this way. And it creates all this stuff for you. All right, so we got the virtual servers. Created one for gateway and unified gateway. I used lowercase for that one. Oops. You got the VIP showing 000. Why you say that? Well, where is the network optimization network? Ooh. Network system network. All right, we got our IPs here. 250, 251. So instead of seeing it like you would for the virtual servers that we set up for our load balancer, it's going to show up in a different location. But cool stuff. I like this unified gateway. I like that they got these little wizards to walk you through setting stuff up. Yeah, let's do this one. All right, you can do web interface, optimize features. Web. Yeah, we can create this. This one we'll call CVAD dash gateway. We'll do 192.168.35.252. .ec learnalong.local. I need to save that. Wildcard gateway. There we go. That's the one I wanted. All right, no worries. Storefront, HTTP, storefront.euc learnalong.local. There we go. EUC learnalong.local. HTTP Citrix. You know what? I should have just copied this. Citrix and Citrix 2. Use the storefront for nope. Okay. Use existing server. Again, we already had that set up. Bam. Making things easy. Done. All right, so we got a gateway. All right, so let's do these couple of steps. We don't need a cert. We got a wildcard cert, so let's do DNS forward lookup new CVAD dot gateway. That's what I chose, correct? Yep. 192.168.35.252. All right, we're done. And we go back over to Citrix. We'll log into you again. So there is something cool with this. So we could add it in here, but if we go here, there's a download file. All right, okay. Yep, messing around in here. We'll put this on ADC. Citrix ADC. There's our license that we got. We got our gateway config. So you can just download here. That's not available over here in Unified Gateway, but you can download. Go here, close. import at the top. If you didn't see that, right here. All right, browse. Box. Box. Administrator. Our handy password. Okay. Storage, Citrix, ADC. Alright, import. Alright, we don't need a callback URL. It's already got our STAs in there. Review, import. Saves you a couple steps. Always like saving the steps. And there we go. All right, it's got a different naming scheme than what we got. Again, it's from Citrix, but all good. If we go to remote access, already added it for us, but we're going to remove it. Again, you don't have to. You're just accessing the gateway to the store. We'll just leave it as just the one check. Okay. All right, let's check. HTTPS cvad.gateway.dec local. Oh, look at that. Using that wildcard. All right, we got the login. All right, same login. And there we go. All right, so it doesn't give you the option to choose XenApps and desktop, client list, client, all that. It just takes you right to your CVAD environment. Cool stuff. But again, just a couple clicks and you're there. Got all this metrics in here, which we're not going to look at today. Got username, client IP, bunch of cool stuff. Does this give you? Nope. I know. But it's cool. We can monitor your gateways all right here. All right, I would do Zen Mobile, but we ain't got no mobile device. But I'm excited. We can do gateways. So again, to recap, get yourself a developer license, apply it to your NetScaler. You can apply it to both. I just applied it to one and said this is my primary. We've done a few things with certs. We're kind of expanding upon that. Create a cert. Again, if you're doing it in a lab, showed you how to create a wildcard cert. Enterprise, you're probably not going to be creating these certs on your internal CA. So, get yourself a domain. Get yourself one of them big boy certs. Good to go. And create the host records. And what else? Yeah, I think that's it. Oh, yeah. Do the stuff within Citrix. The important piece. Yeah, but we can leave all those gateways checked, and you can just access the same store. No big deal. Or you can set a store per gateway. It all depends on what you're doing. But anyhow, cool stuff. I hope you learned something.